welcome to a fantastic episode of Was That in Good Taste presents Behind the Bar. I'm going to be one of your hosts, and my name's going to be Chandler Phillips. And with me, as always, is the other one of your hosts,
James Beery. Woo! Woo!
And we have a very special episode because we're getting into doing a couple different alchemical transmutation.
We're transmutationing. We're transmuting.
And we're doing equivalent of exchange.
And I want to exchange your eyeballs for likes.
That
your whole eyeballs.
that seems real orphic.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
Oh wait,
Ooh.
which one's is it? Oedipus is the one who stabs out his eyes because of all the other stuff, right?
Because of all the things.
Anyway, yeah, you said the like, comment, subscribe bit, right?
Yeah. Last week we did. Oh my god, I did it, and you looked at me, and I was like, "Damn, you already did it," and I missed it, and so we did it twice, back to back.
Oh, funny.
High quality. This is what you get.
That's premium entertainmentship.
It is. Oh, this week's so special.
You got an experiment for us today. Last week, I brought a little experiment into the table, and this week, you surprised me with a little experimenting, and I'm eager to try it, though.
I'm so excited.
Admittedly, I'm kind of still very confused about what you said. You said you did a fat wash, but all the fat washes I've seen have been used by animal fats.
Well, here's a question, though. Is that not just fat? Is that not just lipids? What is one of the fattiest things on the earth if it's not nuts? Right? Nuts are very, very, very fatty. And so what I did is I fat washed actually a mix of Redemption bourbon and the remainder of a handle of Jim Beam that's been undrank for months, actually kind of forgotten at the back of the bar.
Wow.
And so what I did was
we had a hidden Jim Beam back there.
it was literally a handle.
And nobody told
It
me.
was just a handle.
Oh, that was the one that we got for just like to have for like house
Yeah,
whiskey.
we bodied it and then forgot about the last bit.
It was like an Isle of Misfit Toys kind of thing where it's like they played with me every day and then I got square wheels and so now I'm here in the back of the bar. I want to be a real bourbon. Sorry, continue.
So I was like, you know what? One of the things about fat washes you always hear, right, is it changes the mouth feel and it also introduces some interesting and very good flavors. I thought, oh, what best thing to take the remainder of a bottle of Redemption bourbon, the remainder of a bottle of Jim Beam, throw them together, 400 ml, and just throw in about 2.5 ounces of a chocolate peanut butter.
Okay, so did you throw in
Hold on.
peanut butter and chocolate?
No. So I bought.
What do you mean?
I brought a chocolate peanut butter already pre-made. Then
it's a peanut butter with chocolate in it.
Then
Okay.
I actually took the pan, I heated it up, I introduced the alcohol
Interesting.
because you don't want to just put the chocolate into the liquor. No, you actually are kind of wanting the fats to get like real nice and spread out.
How hot was it?
No,
though?
not that hot. Just enough to loosen
would it.
it.
Have evaporated off
No.
any
No.
alcohol?
It was just enough to heat the peanut butter till it was still clumpy, but not quite good, not runny, you know.
But was it
And then I kept it on
able
low.
to emulsify?
No, 100%.
What's its emulsification factor, dude?
You know what's interesting? I don't really know, but
On a
I
scale
think a
of
good way to
like
tell is that
mustard to olive oil.
oh, that's actually really good. I would say it's technically closer to mustard only because the particulates, chocolate's pretty large, right? You know.
Okay.
And
All right,
the
I
peanut,
follow.
like the fiber in peanuts is pretty large, but peanuts are extremely fatty. You know what I mean? They're like mostly fat, so I figured that'd be pretty good. And of course, there are like some sugar and stuff, some additives in there. Now, this is the trick: you take it, you do that, you heat it so it melts, and you mix in the liquor, right? And I'm doing that because the chocolate, again,
And again, you used a bourbon.
I've used, yes. And there's a reason for this, by the way. I need to make sure it's very clear. I heated it up because I did a fat wash the other day. I took some butter, I cut it into like these long kind of rectangles, right? Then I put
Julienne.
effectively, right? So I
Okay.
made sure it was kind of cold. I put the liquor in it.
Okay.
Then I put it in the fridge overnight.
Likely
And-
story.
And then what happened is that it effectively, kind of made it buttery. But it was kind of clarified. And then the butter, I tried to whip it into like a frosting. It turned out okay.
What do you mean you tried to whip the butter?
So the
into-
butter, when it was left over, was inside of some whiskey.
Wait, so you didn't melt the butter into
No.
the whiskey and emulsify it
No.
that way?
Because the butter is almost all fat. The peanut butter is fat, fiber, and also cocoa. So I melted the peanut butter with the cocoa to provide more surface area.
And the cocoa's gonna have fibers to it
Yeah.
too.
So it's about surface area.
Okay.
I cut the butter instead of throwing in a hunk of butter
Yeah.
because I wanted more surface area, but I didn't feel like melting it because I don't need to introduce that much surface area. 'Cause
How
the
did
butter,
you keep it cold?
I put it in the freezer.
Oh, you put the whole thing in the freezer.
Yeah, because it takes a very long time for the liquids to the water and the fat to freeze and to solidify.
What is the difference between a fat wash and just a good old fashioned flavoring?
I mean, I think the difference is
Because
it's not really
if you're gonna
anything.
be like, if we're saying that like a fat wash is you're just using a method of extraction that bonds the ethanol to an oil substance, then that just
but
kinda,
specifically fat.
that just kind of means like, well, like Angostura bitters.
Okay, Mister. A burger is also an infusion because there's seasonings in it.
Well,
Like,
because it's like, it's just, it kind of feels like, I don't know, a fat wash. It seems, all right.
I have a theory.
If it were a fat wash, you got to lather, rinse, but you didn't repeat.
Listen.
Or like,
There's one thing.
it feels like there's a step missing.
There's a
And
thing.
All right,
Look at yours.
Admittedly,
Look at yours.
it's delicious.
Look at yours and look at
It
mine.
is a very tasty cocktail.
Look at the difference. Do you not notice that yours is darker?
I see how cloudy
I
it
did that on
is.
purpose.
It's cloudy with a chance of peanut
I did
butter.
that on purpose. Do you see how clear mine is?
Let me grade a cocktail name for that.
Do you see how clear mine is? I'm being serious. Do you see how clear it is?
Are you doing a bit right now?
No, I'm being
Do
for
you
real.
see how I
No, I don't
do
mean
my
clear like
cocktail?
that. I'm being for real. Like,
Do you see how nice and
Stop,
I don't make my cocktails
Stop.
as
Look, I'm being for real. Look, do you see how yours is kind of chocolatey and a little milky looking? It's because this one I made from the top because I didn't have the time to allow it to completely freeze. This has some of the sediment. This, I think, may taste different or have a different texture. So I'm gonna give you have a sip.
Oh. Okay. Do you want to try mine then?
Yeah. I'm curious. That has more cocoa-y, that has more bits in it.
This is
that
just
tastes too
generally
sweet.
more silky, I think. Yours is almost a bit watery, I'd say. I do like mine more. Here's my thing. Here's my thing. I love that you experimented. And I do think it's a fun cocktail, and I think it's tasty.
Not a fat wash fella. Okay.
I tend to, when I taste peanut butter and whiskey together, it tastes a little bit like vomit.
Oh my god.
And this isn't the first time I've said this.
I forgot.
Back when we did our Oreo peanut butter
I forgot.
mudslide,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
it just kind of bourbon and peanut
shit.
butter. And like Screwball can toe that line because it
This is
doesn't
way better
ta-
than Screwball.
This is more peanutty and like a tastier. I agree, but like because Screwball tastes like caramel and peanut extract. This is like you taste peanut butter. And the chocolate liqueur in that also kind of gives it a little extra kind
I
of.
put a little bit of that chocolate liqueur because I thought it'd be really interesting to not just make an old fashioned. That's kind of like a joke, right? You know, it's about elevating something. So I took. Here's the question: is this better than taking straight Jim Beam with a little bit of redemption bourbon and making an old fashioned out of it.
Is it better? Yeah.
Right? I think the problem is I did forget. This is my fault. I forgot about because I remember when we did the ice cream mudslide things.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. And you know what? I kind of also don't really love. I did it because I really want to do tahini.
Ooh.
Right? Because it's sesame, and I think that it's also it's less sweet and it's more umami, right? But I wanted to put that in my back pocket.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I thought that'd be really interesting, and I thought
see.
that like taking that and keeping that and like for like a later cocktail, or because I'm thinking about doing tahini with like rum. You know what I mean? Or tequila.
Ooh.
I thought that'd be really nice.
You know what I kind of want to try? And what I think this flavor profile in general kind of reminded me of is Abba Zaba. And to do something where you like just take a fuck ton of Abba Zabas and throw them into some grain alcohol and see what happens.
Oh, but here's a caveat, and this is the big problem, which is why I'm glad there's more. Because I like to leave it in the freezer for 24 hours. Because it causes the solids to solidify. And most of it.
You know how solids.
You know how I like
solidifying.
to do. Listen, we like to do. That's what they do. Am I being.
And gases? They're occupying the volume of the container with which they're in.
God, every time I get on the train, they're gas spreading.
Every time. And liquids.
Oh, everywhere. Eroding.
Expanding when things get cold.
My ex was water, and oh my God, everything. I swear to God, we had this argument. I'm like, come on. You wear me down every single day.
Isn't that the plot to Elemental?
Is it? Oh,
okay, real quick. All right. Is it weird that
it's water and fire?
Oh, well, I think that's sweet.
I feel like water and earth would be too dark.
It's kind of, all right. You know what I also just noticed is the way we did the lights and the way we're kind of color coordinated. One feels very Halloween spooky and also feels intentional. Like I feel like our costuming department did very well for this episode.
The elite, the young bucks.
Isn't it weird that water expands when it freezes?
Water expands.
And it expands when it's heated up?
Water does everything. Well, you know what? Have you heard of Keegan water?
Wait, Keegan and Peele got a water now?
It's wonderful. You take the water, you put it in a machine. The machine costs like $1,500 because it does something really important, and it deoxidizes the water and then reoxidizes the water, so it's healthier. It removes an atom or something,
and then adds.
And then people spend $1,000.
Does it add an extra oxygen? I
think it does. I think it's called like HW. Oh, but the people who buy. I'm sorry if you bought that and you're like, I like them. I like them so much, but I can't believe. I'm sorry, you've been had. Okay, you can't have H220.
But circling it back, would you be able to use something like that to do kind of like if it does what it says it does? Would you be able to do kind of like an in-home distillation kind of deal?
First of all, if it did what it could do, then we could travel through time.
Or if it could just like instantly purify and
it atomizes water. Is this a water atomizer?
Atomizer.
Oh my God.
I think the potential for this cocktail, it has not been reached. That's where I'm at. I think this
concept.
Did you just throw ice?
No, concept. No, I got excited. Concept.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna come back to this. We're gonna do a series of really short videos, maybe 5 minutes long.
We're workshopping.
I'm going to do this again because there's a few options here. One, I did say I used the remainder of Jim Beam, right, and Redemption Bourbon, which are very good to just have, but in reality, I think that I'm beginning to taste kind of that sourness that you would get from mixing those two bourbons together in just like a glass. And I put them inside of the glass. You know the one that you got me? That's the measuring one for the cocktails.
Oh yeah, the one.
That's how I knew it was 400 mil. Because when I poured them both in, it was about 200 mil each, and it was just to the line. And I took a sip of it, because one, it looked like beer, and I thought it was funny.
Ah.
And two, because I wanted to see what it tasted like. And I'm getting that taste, and I'm realizing what I really want to do is I wanted to take the High West and do this because listen. The reality is that fat washing is about layering flavors. I think a big problem, pardon me, is I bought here. I did bring some complicated flavors, but I'm be very critical. I'm being critical of myself.
I'm being so critical of
I
you
think
right
in
now.
the beginning, I'm getting a good mouthfeel, and at the end, I'm actually getting a little bit of that fattiness. But I think the whiskey is not good enough. And the truth is, when you're doing things like this, right?
Yeah.
This is fine. This did make it taste better to me. But if I'm trying to elevate this cocktail, then doing it like this is wrong. Fat washing it with the High West would be doing it correctly. Right? So I probably wouldn't even do, I'd probably do
the High
tahini
West that you
and-
have on hand right now.
Yeah. And then I would put it in the
You
freezer.
you have the Midwinter's Dram. That is
Yes.
too nice of a whiskey to be.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I'm not joking.
Unless
I'm
you're
really
doing like
trying to make a high
a
quality
batch,
cocktail.
like
I'm not gonna do.
I'm doing Whistle Pig, fat washed, and like
I'm gonna do tahini.
boars that have been imported from Bavaria. Like
I'm gonna do a.
you're trying to fat wash a $250
Not now. No, not now. Right now, I'm gonna do tahini. Right now, I'm gonna do tahini, and I'm going to do a mid-shelf of vodka. What vodka should I get? I'm not vodka. Sorry, tequila. Which tequila should I get?
You would do tequila over. I would do rum. I think I would.
You would do okay. You know what? I'll take.
I would do rum.
What rum?
I would do either Ron Barolito or like a good Florida Cognac. Florida Cognac is my favorite.
So we should do that because I think what I'll do is we could use half the bottle for it because I think that doing it correctly because I don't want
or do a 1776 bourbon. I think that's the kind of bourbon that you want for this, where it's like it's a good bourbon, it's got all the bourbon flavors, but it's not the fucking exclusive like Act 7 Scene 9.
my
like, yada,
fantasy
yada.
is that I think that you're not in your bar.
My
We're behind the
fantasy
bar. We're
is-
doing behind the bar.
I just want to buy a barrel of Pappy Van Winkle just to dump into the harbor.
Just to piss in it. No, I'm
I
saying
just want to roll it down the street just to show all the poor folk just what they're missing out on.
hello, pores. Do you know what this is?
No,
sir,
and
I
you'll-
don't know what it is, sir.
And you never will.
I think because I'm gonna be real. I think that like if we had because we're behind the bar, and we need to make sure if you're starting a bar or you want to work in a bar, you would not fat wash 1776. But I'm not gonna lie, you're not gonna fat wash Midsummer Night's Dram. You might actually do the high rye. You know what I mean?
Or the double rye.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I
Double
mean?
rye is a good one. That's a good rye.
I think that fat washing something that's top shelf in a house is different than top shelf in a bar. You know what I mean? Because in the house,
well.
we can spend $200 and drink it for a while.
Oh,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? But like in a bar, for fat washing, this could be bullet. Like I'm joking around with that, but
Yeah.
like I used
No, but
Jim
it could be.
Beam and the remainders of Redemption Rye that have been sitting in Redemption Bourbon.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not the same.
The James Pepper 1776, it's like a $25 bourbon. It's like
I think it's too low. I think I need something
Too
slightly, just slightly, and I think
slightly elevated.
just a little bit, maybe something in the $45
Okay,
range.
like Breckenridge.
Breckenridge is a good, yes, like Breckenridge, yeah. Or like a Brooklyn 77.
God, I love Brooklyn 77.
Well, tell me that would not be great.
God, I love that whiskey.
Tell me that wouldn't be great.
God, every time I see
Okay.
that whiskey, I'm
What do you
like,
think tastes
that's
good
a
with nuts?
whiskey I love.
How do you feel about apple?
How do I feel about like the company or the flavor?
The flavor, like apple and nuts. I'm really trying to figure out behind the bar. I'm really trying to figure this out. What do you think would really complement the sesame seed forward? Okay, because
So we're pivoting from peanut butter.
no, so I'm
and we're
still
going
gonna.
for
So I
tahini
still have
or
this.
tahini.
So I
Okay.
still have this in the freezer.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
once it's fully done, I would love for us to try it again to see if it's better, right? But I'm really thinking like forward, right? You know, I want to make the real drink. And the real drink to me, I think, is something nutty. I think that tahini is great because it's sesame. It's very fatty. It has a very distinct flavor. And I think that the kind of fattiness will allow for like this nice kind of like body to like hold something together. And I was thinking we're going into fall, but I don't want to do spicy yet. I want to do early fall. I was thinking like apple. Maybe apple, like an apple cinnamon with a little bit of nut.
We could bring back a Calvados or an Applejack or something like that.
Ooh,
Because
I
like
think the
a
problem.
Laird's Applejack, like something that's a bit fruitier.
What's making it fruity though? Because remember, whatever you want, because like if there's a lot of sugars in it,
Yeah.
if the sugars are solids and the sugars could be frozen, but they wouldn't normally. But there's other stuff that will attract it. It will be attracted, so you would lose some of the sugar.
Well, here's what I think. I think my problem is with your extraction method.
This is the one. You don't believe. You want a fat wash? If you want a fat wash, you want to use bacon, doesn't matter. You want to use lard, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so the past month I did my own kind of, I guess, fat washing, but it's all right. I made I did another chemical element that bonds with ethanol, similar to the way ethanol bonds with
Okay.
lipids, and it
Something
also
more natural
something
from nature.
from nature, something that's herbalistic. And I did a fat washing with, it was just decarboxylated nature, and then little bit of water just as like a thing to clean a previously used jar that had said decarboxylated nature. And then brisket fat, like just end cap or fat cap rendered brisket fat, and did a fat wash that way. And the idea was then the fat would be used as like the thing. And so once that's solidified, you drain off the water. But the way you're kind of doing it
That's
is
not
like
fat wash.
but
That's using the fat.
but you're doing it opposites.
You're supposed to. You're
doing
supposed
it
to
opposite.
wash.
So
the
you're
cup.
trying to get the fat to stay behind, and you're trying to get the liquids from it. And I think
some fat, because effectively the way it's been the last few years is that like a lot of the top fat wash cocktails, it's all about getting. I mean, you want to get some of the particulates. You know what I mean? If you're using bacon, you want some of like the body of the bacon, but like you're trying to get rid of as much of it as possible because you're really just trying to lend that heavy characteristic to the thing. So you want to complement it. You know what I mean? So, but the problem is that like the cocoa one, a friend of mine who's a very like they're good, they're very good, they're a mixologist. We were talking about it, and this is similar to something they do. But the problem I think is,
do they do a clarification process? I think that's where you're losing me.
the
Whereas I'm like,
clarification process is that it wasn't frozen for 24 hours.
But
this has only been.
But if it's not frozen, and then you put it through like, I know you put it through a sieve, but if you put it through like a
But you
real,
can't.
a real fucking fine
No, but you
sieve,
can't because I did.
like
And
a
then-
Civ 6,
but you
maybe
can't-
Civ 7
because it gets
kind of
stuck.
sieve.
It's gonna get stuck.
But you just got to let it drip drop for like hours,
The reality,
and that's how you do that. That's the whole meticulous
No,
part of
no,
the
'cause it got
clarified
clogged.
thing.
I know coffee filters. The minute I did it, you can see what happened is that the cocoa, because cocoa especially is very fine, right? It's like Mars dust fine. It can get into things and ruin it. It clogs it. It does not let it through. Allowing it to do what it's supposed to do, which is because the reality is in here is not only, because you have to think about it. It's not just the cocoa. You have to remember that inside of the peanut butter, there's water, there's fiber, right? From both the cocoa, whatever, there's all the plant fibers and shit like that. And because it wasn't frozen for long, we didn't just get more of the peanut. We didn't just get more of the chocolate. We also got the water because the water didn't freeze because it has to be in there for 24 hours because one of the main reasons that I broke it down is I'm
now
trying to
it-
get surface contact with almost every molecule. Then over 24 hours, when it becomes effectively like a hard rock and you take it out, you get you get something that's like effectively a clarified
So
fat
if
washed.
this were to have fully frozen, were the particulates to have separated more? And then-
it would have been kind of hazy, like not what is something that's milky, like milky water. It would have been hazier. It would have been less brown, but it would have been like, because it also looks a little bit peanutty. It would have
'cause
been
I like the mouthfeel, but there is definitely an oiliness. Like there's an oil, like.
well, that's the fat. That's the yeah. That's supposed to be there.
But that's the thing with a fat wash. That's what I'm so fucking confused. Isn't a fat wash? You wash the fat off, like the fat's in and then the fat's gone,
No,
because it's a wash. It's not a fat
I mean
soap.
most of the fat is
It's a
not.
fat wash.
Well, I mean well.
You don't leave a car wash
Well,
with
actually-
soap on the car,
no,
James.
that's the thing you're misunderstanding.
You
Because
have to go through the.
that's the thing you're misunderstanding is
Uh-huh.
because when it's frozen, what are the things that are freezing? The majority of the fat,
Everything but the booze, baby.
yes, including the lipids, which means effectively what should happen if it was frozen for 24 hours,
But then
is
it
that
would
the
have, like-
majority of the fat would be separated and very little of it would be inside of here.
But then you would have like a layer of the solids that have frozen on the bottom in the water, then a layer of alcohol, and then a layer of the fats.
No,
on
the fat
top.
is heavier. The fat will be at the bottom.
The fat drops below the
Yeah, yeah,
alcohol.
yeah. The fat.
So
100%.
then,
You do
if
get a
you
gradient
had
in
like
fat.
a really good freezer, could you, in theory, do fractal distillation to get an even higher alcohol content?
I already can do that.
What? That's dope.
Because it has nothing to do with how cold it is. It's about the amount of time. Because the thing about
That's what they always say. you
oh
know?
my god, that's what they
They
always
always
say.
say time is temperature, temperature is money.
Well, but you know what? All right, content. You wanna a fat wash off?
Out.
You wanna have a fat wash off?
I think I could fat wash you in your sleep.
Because I did.
wait.
This is not even finished. This is not even my full power.
I can tell.
Come on, it's been in there for 6 hours.
I would love to do a fat wash off. In fact, we already talked about earlier, and so you can't steal my idea for what I'm gonna do for our fat wash off.
I don't remember.
Good.
You know what? You can't fuck with me because you know how fucking crazy I am. I will.
You know I'm fucking loco.
You know what? I'm fucking loco.
How I could just kill a man. Ding.
I love trying to. One of the best things I think, and I love this, and tell me I'm wrong, is making new things and trying new things
And I love
behind the bar.
I love destroying your spirit in doing that.
No, it's okay. You know why?
I love crashing
I'm
down
not even
on
crashed.
your plans.
I'm not even crashed.
like a toddler in a Lego
you
set.
know I'm not crashed because I already he didn't know I was recording. I have the rest in the freezer because I know for a fact that it wasn't done long enough. And you can't, to be honest, and all jokes aside, when you're doing things, you can't do it halfway.
Ain't no half stepping.
There really isn't, because I'm not trying to say it's going to be great, but it'll be something different than this when it's really done. And so, like, I don't know, when you're trying, I don't know. Because I'm going to tell you one thing I don't like. I don't know if you noticed this, but I'm getting, I kind of don't like the way Jim Beam sits on the end of the back of my palate.
Peanut butter and bourbon taste. I don't know if maybe I've just puked too many times after having eaten peanut butter.
Oh, maybe you have.
Because, like, there's something about peanut butter and bourbon that just has such a distinct bile aftertaste. Are you getting that?
You know
Are
what's
you
crazy?
getting any of that?
It's wild because I kind of don't know why. We had the same conversation the last time when we did the shakes. I don't even like peanut butter. But I do like the nutty taste. I like the almond taste and I like the tahini taste, but I'm gonna be honest, is I was scared. I know what a safe taste chocolate and peanut butter are. And I do wish that before this was made, that I'd been able to like actually let it sit for the amount of time, because that would be nice. But I also don't even like chocolate and peanut butter, so
So what was the vision here?
I mean, no. I think it's.
Are you
I
just
don't,
admitting that
no.
you
I don't
thought
think it's wrong. I don't think it's wrong.
you saw something and you were like, I
No,
think
no.
Chandler would like this.
No.
And
Not
I'm going to
even.
try to make it for him.
Not even.
And it's actually like a really sweet gesture, and I've been
my
making
God.
fun of
Not
you
even-
for
no,
it.
no.
And you're like, this is just something cool I want to
I
share
did
with
think
my
you were
friend.
gonna like it.
And I just, I don't
feel
know. I've
bad.
been-
You know what's crazy? Look, I thought you might like it, but I knew the minute that it wasn't done fully, I knew how it was gonna go already. Because if you don't go all the way,
then you're only going halfway in, halfway out.
I like doing that. Okay, we're done. We're done. That's it.
I'm trying out new like ending phrases for Behind the Bar
You know
just
what?
to see what sticks. If you don't go all the way, then you're just dicking around.
You know what's funny is I have one, and you don't even realize it yet, but it's okay. My name is James Beery.
I'm Chandler Phillips.
You know what? That's it. We're gonna come back. If you want to know more, or try more, or have us try more, let us know in the comment section below. That's it. Yeah.